My wife won $9 million, filed for divorce, and kicked me out, but she forgot the prenup her parents forced me to sign before marriage. When Sarah won the lottery, she became a different person overnight. We'd been married for 8 years. The morning after the numbers came in, she was on the phone with lawyers. By noon, I had divorce papers. By evening, my clothes were in garbage bags on the lawn. Pack your shit and get out, she said, standing in the doorway. I'm done playing house with someone who never amounted to anything. I'm a high school teacher making $52,000 a year. She worked part-time at a bookstore, maybe $18,000. For 8 years, I'd paid the mortgage, covered the bills, funded her pottery hobby. None of that mattered now. She had $9 million, and I was suddenly worthless. Sarah, can we just talk about this? There's nothing to talk about. My lawyer says I'll keep everything. The house, the cars, the money, you'll get whatever the court feels generous enough to give you, which won't be much. She smiled, this cold, unfamiliar smile. I'm going to travel, buy a condo in Miami, live the life I always deserved. You can go back to your sad little classroom. I grabbed my bags and left. My buddy Mike let me crash on his couch. The next morning, Sarah's Instagram was updated. New chapter, new life, no dead weight. Her friends commented, you deserve this, queen, finally ditching that loser. I spent 3 days in a fog. Then I remembered the prenup. When we got engaged, Sarah's parents insisted on a prenuptial agreement. They thought I was marrying her for money, which was insane because they were solidly middle class. But they were paranoid. I didn't want to sign it. It felt insulting, but Sarah begged, please, just do this for me. It doesn't mean anything, so I signed. The prenup stated that any assets acquired during the marriage through windfalls, including lottery winnings, inheritances, or gifts, would be split 50-50 regardless of whose name they were in. Her parents wanted to protect their potential inheritance to her, but the lawyer they'd hired was fresh out of law school and worded it badly, real badly. I dug through my boxes until I found my copy, then took it straight to a lawyer. He read it twice, then started laughing. Your wife just won the lottery? $9 million. During your marriage? Yes. He laughed harder. She owes you half. This prenup is ironclad. She can't touch that money without splitting it with you. I filed a counter petition the next day, including the prenup as evidence. Sarah's lawyer called me within hours, voice tight. You need to withdraw this immediately. You're making a huge mistake. No mistake. Just enforcing the prenup her parents made me sign. That prenup was meant to protect her. Then they should have hired a better lawyer. Silence. Then, she'll fight this. Good. See you in court. The hearing was 3 weeks later. Sarah showed up in designer clothes, a new Rolex glinting. When she saw me, her face twisted with rage. Her lawyer argued the prenup was signed under duress, that it couldn't apply to lottery winnings. My lawyer presented the document and highlighted the relevant section. The judge read it carefully. The judge looked up, his gaze sweeping across the courtroom before landing on Sarah and her lawyer. The room was so quiet you could hear the hum of the air conditioning. Sarah's expensive Chanel suit seemed to stiffen in the silence, and the brand new Rolex on her wrist no longer gleamed triumphantly, but looked like a cold shackle. Regarding the claim that the agreement was signed under duress, the judge began, his voice steady and carrying undeniable authority. The plaintiff has failed to provide any evidence. From what this court can see, both parties were adults of sound mind at the time of signing, with no clear signs of coercion. He paused, picking up the prenup. As for the content, the terms are clear and unambiguous. Windfalls, including lottery winnings, inheritances, or gifts acquired during the marriage are to be split 50-50ths. The wording is remarkably straightforward. Sarah's lawyer jumped to his feet. Your Honor, that was never the intent. This court's duty is to interpret and enforce the terms as they are written, not to speculate on their intent, the judge interrupted, his tone bearing a trace of stern finality, especially when the terms are this clear. The document provided by the defendant is a legal and binding contract. Motion denied. The lottery winnings, after applicable taxes, will be divided equally pursuant to this agreement. In that moment, the color drained from Sarah's face. Her carefully maintained mask of arrogance shattered, revealing the shock and panic underneath. She whipped her head towards me, her eyes no longer filled with just anger, but with a kind of stunned disbelief, as if she'd been wounded by her own weapon. Her mouth, which had so recently spat the words, dead weight, hung slightly open, utterly silent. The following weeks were a chaotic tug of war. Sarah's lawyer tried to appeal, raising various technicalities, but it was all useless against the ironclad agreement. The media, smelling blood in the water, had a field day. Forgetful millionaire wife hoisted by her own prenup petard became a favorite local headline. Her social media friends, who had cheered you deserve this, queen, fell silent, their comments eventually disappearing altogether. Her promised new chapter, the Miami condo, the life she always deserved, evaporated rapidly under the combined pressure of the law and public scrutiny. Finally, settlement day arrived. After the federal and state taxes took their massive bite, the nearly $9 million prize was significantly reduced, but what remained was still life-changing. According to the agreement, a check for $4,275,000 landed quietly in my bank account. There was no cheering, no celebration, just a deep, almost weary sense of peace. I used a portion of the money to pay off the mortgage on the house Sarah and I had shared. Though the divorce settlement had awarded the house to her, paying off the debt was a clean break for me. A ritualistic closing of that chapter. I bought myself a comfortable, but not extravagant, home with a big study filled with natural light. I kept teaching, not because I needed the salary, but because I wanted to. Now, I stood in my classroom out of passion, not because I was trapped. About 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I happened to hear news of Sarah from a mutual friend. Her new life hadn't lasted. Wild spending, bad investment advice, and those new friends who vanished as her fortune shrank, had quickly eaten away at her remaining share. The Miami condo never happened. Rumor was she had moved back in with her parents, her mental state, not great. The friend looked at me carefully after sharing this, seemingly expecting me to feel the thrill of revenge, but I didn't. What I felt was a faint sadness. The Sarah I had loved, the woman who would come home from a day at the bookstore, and still be excited to knead clay under the evening lamp. Her face smudged, but her smile bright had died that night the winning numbers were called. The money hadn't changed her. It had acted like a strong acid burning away all the ordinary, good parts of her to reveal a hollow, ugly core I never knew was there. One afternoon, while unpacking boxes in my new house, I found something at the bottom of an old crate. It was a rough, imperfectly fired clay mug. One of Sarah's early pieces, a birthday gift she'd made for me shortly after we were married. It was lopsided, the glaze was uneven, but it had been used countless times, holding morning coffee and late night tea, warm and solid. I held the mug, standing in the afternoon sun, my fingertips tracing its rough texture. It held 8 years of my life, the real warmth that once was, and the trust that was finally broken. It was worthless, and yet immeasurably heavy. I didn't throw it away. I placed it gently on the top shelf of my new bookcase, in a corner I don't often reach for. It isn't a trophy of victory, nor a warning of failure. failure. It is just proof that it happened. A testament to a journey taken, a love that was and then vanished, an ordinary life utterly upended by $9 million, only to finally find its footing again. On the other side, I looked out the window at the sunset, painting the sky in warm shades of orange and red. Tomorrow, a classroom full of kids would be waiting for me. Life after its wild storm had finally returned to its proper calm and solid course. And peace, sometimes, is a richer prize than any jackpot.